I'm Morgan with On It Plumbing, the American Plumber YouTube channel, and I thought it'd be helpful to give you 6 practical tips on how to save money when you need to call a plumber for plumbing repairs. Whether you're, a DIYer or somebody looking to cut down on cost for your plumbing repairs, these 6 tips are going to give you the most bang for your buck and the best ability to lower the cost of when you do need that plumber to come out and do some work. So first, if you've got a leak underground, tip number 1, you've got a leak underground. That leak needs to be dug up in order to fix it. If you're a plumber, you're going to charge the same amount whether you're doing plumbing repairs, which is skilled labor, or digging the hole. So the first thing is, if you dig it up and fully expose it before the plumber arrives, this can save you a lot of time and money. When the plumber shows up, they just get straight to work of fixing the issue rather than spending time on the excavation. I know, for example, our rate between whether we have to dig up a leak or just repair it is double because of the time involved in digging it up and backfilling it. So you offer to do the digging and the backfilling, and that will be a great way to save you money on underground leaks. Real quick on this, I need to cut in. It has to be ready to go when the plumber shows up. You can't have them come out and say, oh, where do I dig? And then dig it up and have them come back, because then you're going to pay another service call fee. But if you have it ready to go the first time they show up, that's what I'm talking about. Phil. Now, when you do this, though, don't just show the top of the pipe and say you've got it dug up. You've got to get all the way around it and expose, 6 inches or so on each side after the leak, maybe even more. Make sure it's fully exposed, and ask the technician or the company if you can send them a photo and see if you've got enough exposed. Tip number 2, supply your own valve and fixtures. Make sure you're getting the right ones. Make sure you're getting quality like Moen, Delta, Price Pfister, or if you're going to get a water heater, get a decent brand, a name brand, like at least a Rheem, Reliance, something name brand. I'm not a big fan of Reliance, but get something name brand. Leave the fittings to the plumber. Plumbers like to use their own fittings. I've had customers trying to hand me PVC or shark bites, and it's like, I don't use shark bites. You don't know what your plumber wants to use for fittings, so I would leave the fittings to the plumber. But when it comes to the valve itself, supply your own valve. It won't come with our company warranties, the valves we put in for an extended period of time, which is beneficial to the customer. But we charge for that. I mean, we're supplying it and we're going to stand behind our product, and there's a charge to that. So if you want to save money and the goal is to cut costs down, have your own kitchen faucet ready for the plumber to install. And again, our rate is a lot less to install a customer supplied faucet than one that we supply on our own. Maybe you need to get into the wall. You've got a shower valve that needs to be changed out. Well, you've got to cut into the back side to get access into that wall. Plumbers are going to charge you to cut that access into the wall because we got to cut it and then cover it with an access panel and bag it up and clean it. And plumbers like doing plumbing. Anything outside of plumbing, if we're having to do it, we'll do it and we'll charge you for it, but it's not necessarily cost effective for you. If you know that you're going to have a valve changed out, you can tell that company, hey, I've already got the wall opened. And if you've got your own fixture as well, and you just have the plumber do the swap out, I can tell you firsthand, you're going to save quite a bit of money, because so much of plumbing, and service plumbing especially, is not actually plumbing. It's the pursuit to get to the plumbing that takes most of the time. So if you can cut the drywall or cut a hole to get to where they need to go, and then you do the patchwork, that will save you quite a bit of money on your plumbing repair. That's tip number 3. Tip 4, same as kind of like digging up your own leak, but prepare the section of piping that needs to be repaired. So rather than, hey, I've got a leak under my house, I hear spraying, if you want to save money, crawl under there, find it, lay some tape out, mark that section, or if there's insulation on it, clean that, remove the insulation, maybe shut the water off and let it dry up. Or if it's a sewer line, or maybe you can even, I would be a little cautious, but if it's like PEX piping or something newer, You could even cut out that section and have it ready to just be spliced and repaired. Because again, you're trying to save the plumber time. Now, I got to be a little bit careful with this, because if you cut galvanized that is falling apart, you could end up, causing more problems. But at least getting it ready and finding the leak is a big part of that problem. And just having if possible, if it's a plastic material, cutting it with enough room to glue on each side, or something like that, connect to on each side, is going to save you money. And back to the step one, if you are going to dig your own hole, I would recommend calling in for utility locates, because we always do that when we're doing leak repairs. But if you're going to do it yourself, just make sure you're being safe. So you could pull the plumbing permit, hire a plumber to do the install, and then schedule the inspection. Make sure you let the plumber know that you are getting permits, and they need to be aware of that. But if you're replacing, say, your line from your meter to your house, you could pull that permit and then let the plumber know that they just need to plumb it, and you've got the inspection covered. They will want to see the number, because they need to know that it's actually legitimate. But as the homeowner, you can pull your own permits on your property. I believe you do need, it depends on the jurisdiction, but where we're at, we could get away with doing that, and that can save the customer money, because the plumber doesn't have to spend as much time clerically in the office to coordinate that event. And likewise, you can kind of throw some combo effects out here. If you do the digging and pull the permit, and then the plumber only has to run a line from point A to point B, that's going to save you quite a bit of money, probably a good majority of what that job would have cost. So I know in these times when the economy is questionable, you're looking for ways to save money. And I'm hoping that by giving you these tips, I've been able to give you some ideas on how maybe you can cut down the cost of what it would take to have a professional plumbing company come out and serve you. I still think it's very helpful to have a professional come out there, just somebody that's done it day after day, year after year, and becomes very knowledgeable in the skills that it takes to do these repairs. I think it's worth having a plumber, but if you can cut your costs down, I totally understand. Please, if you like this video or you want to learn more about becoming a service plumber, subscribe to the channel. That's what it's all about here. I'm really trying to help plumbers find their way. And these are things you can recommend to your customers on how they could save some money, so that we can get the job done. We'd rather help them than not help them. And I'm sure the customer would rather have a plumber do some of these repairs than do it themselves and worry about it leaking in the wall. Now, number 6, the final tip that I have for you is get your pricing up front. A lot of customers actually surprisingly still want us to give them an hourly rate. And I always tell them it's a bad idea, because I've had technicians slack on jobs. Jobs just don't go the way you think they're going to go. And for a job that typically, it's a clog, typically that takes, an hour and a half. So we're an hour, so you could do that. But what if the job goes sideways and it ends up taking you 4 hours? It's much better to have a flat rate. Now make sure that the company is giving you a legitimate flat rate. When I say legitimate flat rate, make sure that you read what their price includes, what you're getting for that price, and that when you sign upon that they are following through with that contract. That's what I mean. But when you're a flat rate company, it keeps you locked into these, mini contracts. I think that's a lot better than just hourly, kind of winging it, because I've had times where you thought a job was going to be a 2-hour water heater change out and it takes 5-6 hours. So, or if there's there's just a lot of things that can go sideways. So I would say try to get your prices up front. I think it's a better way to do business. When you go to the store to buy a TV or a gallon of milk, if it didn't have a price tag on it, you wouldn't be buying it. You don't get the price until you walk out the door, and after you ring it, basically after it's already charged you, you realize it was a $12, gallon of milk, oh, well, we had a milk shortage, you'd rather know up front that was $12 and make your decision until afterwards when the work's already done and you owe this technician, and then you find the price. So we always find it best to give prices up front. So there you have it, folks. There's your 6 ways to help save money on plumber costs. I hope it helped you out. If you could help me out, hit the like button at least. And if you're into more plumbing information or you're starting a plumbing business, please subscribe. Helps me out. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I'm Morgan, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, folks.